so let's try and play around with it. Instead of putting a class in directly, we can actually put in a dynamic class using a field that's like the input field, right? So now I write ngClass here instead. Now the difference here is that I can still make this into a string that I want to pass in like this, but now I have to put in the single quotation mark. Now this is one of the things I really had trouble understanding the first time when I used Angular, when to put in one thing and another. The reason that I don't have to put in the single quotation here is that this is actually just a normal HTML class tag, nothing else. Class property on a tag. And that means that I don't have to put in the string because it's already in quotation, right? But here, instead, the ngClass is actually an Angular property. That means that I have to explain to it what I'm sending in. Right now, I'm just explaining to it, I'm sending in a string. And that converts that string into a class object that has the string of course item. Let me show you what I mean. So notice here again, it's still just called the course item right here. If I did not have this guy in here, I would actually fail. So let's just try and save this. And you'll notice there's something wrong with the syntax already and it won't work anymore. Now the reason is there's no property inside the TS file called course-item. Let's try and change that. Let's try and make this into course item CSS like this, or CSS like this. Let's save that, and I'm going to use that as a property field inside my TS file. So notice I'm making a new property field here called course item CSS. That's going to be equal the same thing I just did, course item, like it was before. Let's just try this out, save that, and let's have a look if it works again. And there we go, we have them back. Because this is actually now a property that's being converted into a property here. So now without the single quotation, it's not a string anymore. It's actually a property from the TS file. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of what we just did. We converted the string into being something that's dynamic. Let me show you something really cool. You don't have to understand this. This is an input field that kind of points, for each component now points to this specific CSS right here. That means that now we actually can see what's in that as the CSS file, and if I change it, boom, I just lost my CSS. Boom, so now you have dynamic CSS that can be changed whenever you click a button, whenever you change an input. Whatever you want to do, you can actually change now dynamically what you show on the page. So you have a way for you to actually, using code now, changing the class on runtime. That's freaking amazing. So you don't just have static tags here, now I actually have dynamic tags that can be changed on runtime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add the other ones as ngClass as well. Not that we're going to use them right now, but just to kind of have enough code for you guys to see in the next lesson if you want to play around with this. I'm going to keep the ng model here for the next lesson as well, just so you guys can go and grab it from GitHub if you want to, but it's going to be gone shortly. That's all for this lesson. See you next lesson where we'll try and pass this one from the outside using another input field. Have fun.